What's up everybody, and welcome back. I think this is only the second time I've recommended a psychological, and maybe the first time I've recommended a thriller and sci-fi, so you know this has to be good. Today I'm recommending Break New World, which is being made by Utse Kosuke. It's 33 chapters and is a drama, psychological, sci-fi thriller with some gore. And it starts off with a guy waking up from a phone notification about points he's earned. He leaves his room to have breakfast, and we find out his name is Korea as he responds to his mother's good morning by just making a sound, which sparks his mother to say if he responds like that, it could negatively affect his social trust. He says he'll behave better at school and leaves, giving the same noise response, and puts his headphones in to drown out the speakers blaring some kind of message as he walks down the street with a giant statue in the background. As he gets closer to school, he runs into a classmate who asks if he quit his club and says if he's not in a club, it will affect his social trust, and says he's also volunteering and donating blood. Korea is just annoyed by him and flicks him off, but the kid corrects him again, saying he should smile if he wants a social trust score of B. At school, the teacher talked about heretics being anyone who opposes the system Lowell has implemented, and being a heretic can be as simple as going out at night or eating unhealthy food. Korea is clearly having none of it and shows his friend a picture of the teacher he drew during class, making his friend laugh and showing us his friend has a social trust score of D. And because he's a D, he can't go to hospitals or libraries anymore. And his score dropped because he ate unhealthy food and watched quote-unquote harmful content. And he doesn't even know what that content was. And Korea says that his dad was sent to a detention camp because of harmful content as well. But Korea refuses to change because he feels everyone else is changing, and the problem isn't the content, it's that everyone is going along with the rules, even though no one even knows who Lowell is, even though he's in charge. Korea's friend gets called away and doesn't come back that day. While leaving, he sees Tsubaki, who has a social trust of E, being harassed because anyone who has the lowest trust of E are allowed to be harassed by anyone and have to wear a marking to represent their standing. And anyone who tries to help an E will be labeled heretics and have their social trust dropped to an E, along with their family. Korea gets home and sees his mother watching an uncensored movie since they have a physical copy of it, and he goes to draw something that would get him in trouble. He leaves for school the next day, and his mom tells him to behave better since he's going the same way his father did, and is worried about him, and the two get into a small fight before he leaves. When he gets to school, his friend who disappeared is back and has a social trust of B now when it was a D yesterday, and has the picture Korea drew with him and turns it over to the teacher. Korea has no idea what happened to his friend, and when he gets home, two new people are there saying they're going to be his parents because someone reported his mother for suspicious activity and she was sent to detention camp, and they even installed cameras in his house. So Korea, not knowing what to do, just accepts it and tries to follow the rules. I'm not sure how long, but he's clearly dead inside as he goes along with it. That is, until he sees Tsubaki being harassed one night and a kid throwing a stone at her head. Korea can't help himself and punches the kid in the face. The kid threatens to report him, which will make him an E, and Korea says he doesn't care because he doesn't have a family anymore. They start insulting Tsubaki, and Korea loses it again, yelling at them, and the kids start beating him up, which just makes him more upset until something sparks in his eyes, which causes one of the kids' heads to blow up, and then both of the other kids' heads to blow up. And Tsubaki isn't fazed at all and says they have to dispose of the bodies and not to worry because there are no cameras around where they are, and says that they died because of Korea's powers, and then tells him that they should kill Lowell. And let me tell you what, I'm sold on this manga because what an insane first chapter. Honestly, the crazy government and social trust society was already enough to get me to read this, but with the chapters ending with Korea blowing up some kids' heads, come on, that's just too incredible, because not only is this a dark society story, but it's also an Esper, known as descent powers in this world, / espionage story that may become a secret war story as well. All of those are fantastic on their own, but altogether, I'm absolutely loving and excited for what happens in this. Now, I'm not caught up yet either. I'm only 10 chapters into it as of recording this, and I don't want to spoil anything, but it does just get better, because in those chapters, it explains more of what's going on in the world and raises more questions that seem like they are definitely moving toward answering, not just raising to raise. So far, this is a fantastic manga. I know the art isn't great, and jumping ahead, it doesn't look like it gets much better, but because of how interesting the story is, I think it's worth overlooking, especially because you'll probably only ever be able to read it. It also raises a lot of similarities to modern society and questions a lot about it, because scarily enough, the situation seems definitely plausible, which allows you to be able to relate to Korea better by saying we should question things, and maybe everything isn't something you should go along with, while also bringing up censorship, both societal and in media. Maybe that's too much for you, because it is dark, but it is so good to me. Definitely different to anything I've read before. And Korea is a great MC, mostly because he's just over and done with everything and everyone, and I don't blame him. And now that he has powers and really doesn't feel anything when he kills someone, I think he's only going to get better. Now, there is one thing. When I jumped ahead, whoever translated this manga said they're dropping it until a lot of chapters build up, so any other group can take it over. So I have absolutely no idea what the fate of the translated chapters will be, but hopefully some group picks it up. Otherwise, I'll just catch up and probably forget about it as it gets buried in my list. So hopefully that doesn't happen and it keeps getting translated, because this manga so far is fantastic. Either way, if this looks interesting to you, check it out and like the video and subscribe to the channel. And if you want more recommendations, check out the Why You Should playlist linked below along with the merch. Other than that, I'll see all of you in the next one.